Cookie day is about to get a whole lot easier. It is one base recipe that has a host of different flavor variations. You can mix as much of this mixture as your stand mixer or hand mixer can handle.
My name's Taryn and I'm a professional baker from South Africa. I've baked some crazy, weird and wonderful cakes in my time. And now I hope to pass those skills on to you as I bake, make and create with the Supermoms Club.
Cookie day is about to get a whole lot easier. If you usually spend your day making millions of different recipes with millions of different ingredients, this recipe is going to be a complete game changer and make your life so easy. It is one base recipe that has a host of different flavor variations. Now I have 10 different variations. They are all listed in the description and you can grab those links from there. Today I'm going to be doing 3 of those variations, and this is really to show you the 3 different methods that these cookies can be finished off in, and it applies to all 10 of the variations. Now you can mix as much of this mixture as your stand mixer or hand mixer can handle. Generally a stand mixer can probably make about 5 times the recipe, so what's really great is you can freeze half of your cookie dough and then haul it out the freezer whenever you need to refresh your cookie jars. So on that note, let's get into the base ingredients. You'll need 125 grams of butter, a cup of white sugar, 2 eggs, 2 cups of cake flour, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and the magic ingredient that gives these cookies their base flavour, a 90-gram packet of instant pudding powder. So whether you are making just one of this recipe or timesing it by however much you can jam-pack into your mixer, the same rules apply for the base ingredients. So you're going to start by adding your butter and sugar into your mixer and cream it nicely. Just make sure that your butter is at room temperature. Then you can add your eggs and continue to mix until they're nicely incorporated. You may want to scrape down the sides of your mixer because sometimes a lot of butter can accumulate around the sides. And lastly, sift in your flour and salt, mixing until it forms a soft dough. Once your base ingredients are mixed, and if you've made multiple batches of this cookie recipe, this part is really going to apply to you. So what we are going to do now is remove all the cookie dough from your mixer and then divide it by the amount of batches that you've made. Generally, each batch weighs around 665 grams at this stage. And then we can get on to flavouring our cookie dough. So for my first batch, I'm going to be using some sticky toffee pudding, and that is all that I'm going to be putting into my batch because I really want to make some round, beautiful, flat cookies that can be royal iced. Now you can use any flavour of instant pudding you like. So all you need to do is add the instant pudding powder and baking powder and mix until it's combined. Then for my second batch, I'm adding vanilla instant pudding powder, baking powder, a 1/4 cup of desiccated coconut, and 10 chopped glazed cherries. And for my last batch, I'm using chocolate instant pudding powder, a tablespoon of cocoa powder, baking powder, 5 chopped marshmallows, and a handful of M&Ms. Once your batches are mixed, if you like, you can freeze half your dough for later use. And you can pop your remaining dough in there too, so it gets cold enough to roll. So once your dough is nice and cold, you can haul it out your freezer. If you are making multiple batches, you can place your other dough in the fridge at this point because you really don't want it to freeze. And the first thing we are going to do now is start by popping our oven on to 180 degrees Celsius or 360 Fahrenheit. And then I have just placed some baking paper on top of a baking sheet, and then you can go ahead and grease the top of that. So now I'm going to show you the 3 different methods that these cookies can be made. So basically I have 3 little tools. So the first one is just a measuring spoon, and then I have around a 6 centimeter diameter circle cookie cutter, and then a glass that fits perfectly into the bottom of my cookie cutter. So this really helps in making perfectly round, straight cookies. So all you need to do for each of these cookie dough recipes is to measure out a spoonful of your mixture and then roll it into a little ball. And then you can place around 8 little balls on a standard size baking sheet. So now to get perfectly flat little round cookies that I can royal ice on top, I'm going to place my cookie cutter just inside some flour and then kind of tap it off. And then do the same with my glass. Then place your cookie cutter so that your ball of dough is directly in the middle of it, and gently press down using the bottom of your glass so that the dough evenly spreads inside your cookie cutter. And now you can pop your cookies onto your middle shelf in your oven, and then the bake times do vary slightly from recipe to recipe, so you can check all of those out in the links in the description. So generally, if you want a kind of harder on the outside and soft and chewy in the middle, go for a bake time of around 10 minutes. Otherwise, if you want them nice and crunchy, you can leave them in for 13 minutes. I'd really suggest on the chocolate recipes to go for a bake time of 10 minutes because that extra cocoa does kind of make them slightly drier than the other biscuits. And once they're done, you can do the cookie switch and bake your next batch. So let's move on to cookie method number 2. Press the balls flat using the back end of a measuring spoon and then pop a cherry in the middle. When they're done, sprinkle with coconut and top with some edible leaves. The last method is pretty much the same as the first, but this time they're getting fully loaded with M&Ms and marshmallow bits on top. When they come out of the oven and they're still hot, you can add some extra marshmallows to top them off. So now I can get on to finishing off the first little batch of cookies that went in, and these are going to be royal iced. So what you need for the royal icing is 3 tablespoons of meringue powder, a pinch of cream of tartar, 600 grams of icing sugar, and half a cup of warm water, and a little extra if needed. So now to make the royal icing, it's really easy. All you're going to do is pop your water into your meringue powder and just make sure that it's nice and warm, and whisk for a minute. Add your cream of tartar and whisk for a further 30 seconds until it's smooth. And then you can pop your icing into your mixer, so just make sure that you are using your paddle attachment, and then you can pop this little mixture in as well and give it a really low beat for around 10 minutes. So depending on which cookies you are going to make, you are going to need to colour your royal icing. So I'm making black, green and brown. While I'm not using my colours, I generally pop a damp cloth over the top of them. So I'm going to start with the white and brown and make borders around my cookies using a small piping tip. Then I'm going to flood the cookies using a medium tip, give them a shake and then pop any air bubbles. For my first 2 cookies, I'm going to decorate them while the icing is still wet. For the first one, I am placing 2 little dots in 8 positions around the cookie and then running a skewer through the middle of them, creating a holly leaf pattern, and then I'm going to top them off with some small red balls. For my second cookie, I'm using some M&Ms cut in half and creating little Christmas lights and placing a star in between them. Once the icing's dry, I'll run a string of black icing across the lights. My next 2 sets of cookies are dry, and the first will be decorated with a zigzag pattern creating a Christmas tree, and then I'll top them with some white and red sprinkles and a star. For my last cookie, I'm making a little reindeer, piping the antlers, adding a cherry for the nose, and some eyes and a mouth. I'm not gonna lie, I went a little crazy and a little overboard and decided to make all 10 flavour variations. My daughter got home from school early, they're busy with exams, and she said, "Come Mum, let's get stuck in," and we did, and it was so much fun. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode, and I really hope that this recipe will make your cookie day super easy. If you are looking to gift some cookies to your special loved ones or co-workers, on Wednesday, I have these really cute little treat boxes that will be coming out. Be sure to check out that episode. There are some freebies in there as well. Until then, take care and God bless.